And we saw that first cut and we are like, we're in the wrong field. What we had in our heads is not happening. We've had so many rejections from festivals, but at the same time we've had such a profound impact on people. I think just that ability of art to touch people in so many different ways is what makes it beautiful, and is why we all work in film, work in art, despite it not necessarily being the most financially safe, the most accepted socially, and so on. It feels surreal to be here 1.5 years after starting working on this project, to actually be less than a month away from a theatrical release. Something that I didn't think would happen, primarily because, like everybody has spoken about, this was supposed to be a short film that evolved into what it is right now. Not only did it become a feature film, but it has traveled everywhere around the world, and it's connected deeply with so many people on an emotional level that I was beyond my expectations. So I would say that's my first learning, is that when you create art, when you set out to work on something, one thing is you cannot predict the outcome, and you should not be attached to the outcome either. So then we've had so many rejections from festivals as well. We've had very mixed reactions from people as well. But at the same time, we've had such a profound impact on people. I think just that ability and that wide, ability of art to touch people in so many different ways is what makes it beautiful, and is why we all work in film, work in art, despite it not necessarily being the most financially safe, the most accepted socially, and so on. And to some effect, that is the point of Tango Malhar, of pursuing something that means something to you, that gives you that internal gratification. And it was interesting, after talking to all the cast and crew right now, that when I asked people about what was their highest form of validation, a lot of it was internal. A lot of it was moments during the film and the process of it, even more than seeing the end product. And I would say pretty much the same for me. I'll start from 5 different aspects of this in the journey of the film. The first being in the script development itself. The concept came about when Manish explored this concept about, say, a rickshaw driver that comes into the tango scene. So both Manish, who's my tango teacher and a good friend now, and I are tango dancers, and we, throughout COVID, when everybody was socially isolated, we were embracing people and being up and close with people, and it was a really it was very meaningful during that time where everybody was so disconnected. And we thought, this kind of privilege that we have, how do we extend it, and how would it look like for different stratas of society? And then Manish proposed this idea, and this was a few years ago, and we kind of toyed around with it and worked on a bare bones of a script, not having formal experience in the field. And then when we decided to make it was in January 2024, I shared the script and narrated it to some people. And I think just this message which I was talking about how art transcends class and how important it is to follow your dreams, resonated with so many people that even if we didn't have any credibility as filmmakers, we were lucky enough to have a lot of passionate individuals join the team. From the cast who was trying to break into films from theatre, to a relatively experienced crew that took a chance on a novice filmmaker. That's where the journey began. Then came my first learning back then, which is that the film gets made several times. Once while actually writing the script, so the version that Manish and I wrote, it transformed 3, 4, 5 times before we actually went into production. Part of it is the story and to make the story robust. The other part of it is actually to make it production viable. So make it, even then we attempted stuff that was really ambitious, that only a first-time filmmaker would make. Starting from having 3, 4 sequences with so many extras, the milonga scenes, the class scenes, the performance at the end, to having the main protagonist have an entire drama acted out while driving a rickshaw. These were all challenges that we realized were challenges while making the movie, as well as in post-production, as everyone has described. But a bunch of that was tapered down when we had the final production script. Then the production challenges itself, I think I mentioned this, being both the director and a producer on the project, led to several internal conflicts in how much to push the extra creative shot versus how much to kind of rein it in and keep the team motivated, not overexhaust and overextend the team. So we had about an 18-day shoot, back to back. I think we barely had a break in between. Toward the end, I think we were just running on pure adrenaline. And the problem was we also didn't have the budget to have a second or third shoot, so we really had to do the best we could. Then came the edit, and what I realized from this process was having a strong technical team was really important, and that was sort of becoming clear as we filmed. And choosing the right editor to tell the story was important. So actually, we spent a good amount of time choosing that person. And Shama, who's actually a great documentary editor, and her style is more slice of life. She liked the story and came on board. And this was a very different experience for her to edit a kind of a musical narrative fiction in this context. So it was a risk, it was a gamble, and we were new to that process. So I think, like Sumed mentioned, the first cut that we saw, we were kind of on a very unrealistic timeline. But when it came about, and we saw it, we were all in different places watching it, and we were going to think about it afterwards. And by that time, we already had these grand plans to send it to all these festivals. And we saw that first cut, and we are like, we're in the wrong field. This is we should really, what we had in our heads is not happening. And we took a couple of days after that. And when we revisited the footage, we realized, okay, let's approach this like we have the entire project with a problem-solving brain and break this down. Like, what is working, what is not working. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's not so different from engineering. Finally, it is art and it is creativity, but it is a lot of fixing and problem-solving at the end of the day. So we broke down and we actually gave very detailed, constructive feedback of what is working, what is not, what emotion should come through. And we realized that's exactly what the editor was expecting from us. And the second cut was a drastic change. And then after that, it was almost like, chiseling a sculpture, starting off with a block that is somewhat of an abstract shape of what you're expecting, and then kind of chiseling it down, in iterations. And basically, the edit is the second version, or the third version rather, of the entire film. And then the fourth version is after sound comes in, and it adds the soundscape and elements of things and creates an entirely different world that you kind of didn't have just visually. The recording of the music was another fun portion. I think that was one of the hardest and most fun parts. So we had to work with basically tango music. We had to work with Indian classical music. We had to work with hip hop, all the influences in Malhar's world, yet work with a small budget and copyright issues. But we lucked out because Tango Bardo, one of the known tango bands, basically I reached out to them on Instagram, and they were gracious enough to say, yes, feel free to use our music. We love your idea. And not only that, they actually came to the screening in Argentina when the film premiered in Bafisi, the festival there, and promoted it and shared it. And so it was such an interesting international collaboration to get those artists on board. And then we had like two musical geniuses, Samarang, whose name I shall not mention his real name, and Shardul, who came from two different backgrounds. One is more classical, one is more contemporary, and the two of them just made magic in both Natstula and Tango Malhar, the two known songs in the film, as well as the overall BGM. And the last piece, which is again the cherry on the top, the chiseling came to the stage of adding color, and we were fortunate enough to work with Aman, who kind of not only, I would say, fixed the inconsistencies in the film, and kind of brought all the characters to life with their skin tones, the backgrounds, and so on, but really created art from every frame. And I've gotten this feedback from so many people saying the cinematography is really beautiful. And yes, the DOPs did a fabulous job in conceptualizing and getting the footage that we did, but I feel like the end product of the very beautiful things that we see on screen were actually a culmination of both the shots as well as the treatment that was done in post-production. So really, I would like to appreciate the technical team that brought this whole all the puzzles of this thing to life. So that was my entire experience with making the movie. And I think that's, again, my misconception that that's where the whole process ended, because that's where it just began. Because I think one of the things about independent films is you make a movie, and I think people have said this repeatedly, but then what's the point of it, right? You want people to watch it. And that's been the journey of the last almost full year of actually bringing this movie to audiences, and the right audiences, So we've kind of done the festival circuit. We have gotten the film to tango schools, Argentine embassies, and people have just been so gracious and generous because they've enjoyed and liked the project and the mission of the whole thing. And but now we want to also get it to the masses. That's why please support independent cinema. Come to theaters, watch us between the 19th and the 25th, and after that I will do my best to give it the best home possible on some sort of platform. Because I do feel like even independent cinema, which is created by passionate individuals, deserves this kind of a platform.